I met the son of a Methodist minister, and I had so many questions for him because I was interested in God, but I just didn't know where to go with it. I had so many questions, he finally said, look, you just need to get Josh McDowell books. Evidence Demands a Verdict and More Than a Carpenter. Those were books written in like the 70s. So I got those books, I read them, and I said, wow, this really appears to be true. And I began to go to a church where I didn't get a 7-minute homily, but I had a 45-minute sermon so I could learn more. So that's how I got more into the Protestant. I wasn't a liturgy guy. I wasn't. Now, some people are attracted to liturgy, that's fine. I wasn't. I wanted more variety. I wanted to learn more. So that's why I gravitated in that direction. And I said this, I had a conversation with Jimmy Akin. You guys know who Jimmy Akin is? He's a very nice man. He's a Catholic apologist. I like Jimmy. And I had him on my show, and we were talking about justification. I said, Jimmy, what do you want to talk about? The differences between Catholics. He said, let's talk about justification. So we talked about justification a little bit. And I said, Jimmy, here's one of my problems. And this is just me. This is anecdotal evidence. I haven't taken surveys. But I can tell you, in the hundreds of masses I've gone to, I have never heard the gospel from the homily, from the sermon, until the last mass I went to, and that was my father's funeral. When the priest came out and said, I spoke to Frank the other day, and he's accepted Jesus, so he's in heaven right now. He didn't talk anything about sacraments. He didn't talk anything about doing good works. He said he's accepted Jesus. So I said, Jimmy, why is it? Maybe it's just me, but why is it that every Catholic service I go to, I never hear a word about grace? In the sermon. You hear it through the Mass, right? Which is liturgy, which after you say it enough times, it just becomes, ho-hum, I'm going through the motions, right? And so what Jimmy did is he actually did a response video where he said, well, the gospel is all throughout the Mass. I emailed him, I said, Jimmy, that's not my question. Because repetition can cause people to tune out. Why do the priests never talk about grace?
Oh my gosh.
I still haven't gotten an answer. That's just me, though.
Yeah, it is just you. Deal. Frank Turek, he's such a wanker. He's horrible. He's lukewarm. He makes me want to throw up. He's one of those guys who says, maybe we're in the Matrix. Wicked. He's a wicked man. He's not even 100% sure that God exists. He's not even absolutely sure. He's wicked.
People come to me and they say,
he makes me want to throw up.
You think Catholics can be saved? I normally say, I even think some Baptists can be saved. Because it's not where you go to church, it's whether or not you've accepted what Christ has done. So I have great respect for Catholic friends.
No, you can accept what Christ has done and go to hell. I was deceived too in 2011, 2012. You got to do things to be saved. You got to do things to be saved. You have to do things to be saved. When the Bible says not of works, it's never talking about 100% of a person's will, 100% of a person's actions. It's always talking about a specific type of work, whether it's works of self or works of the Mosaic law, circumcision. But works of faith and works of love, we need.
Church, but there are several doctrines I think that Catholicism puts forth that I think are in error. And the best book on it, I think, was written by my co-author, Dr. Norman Geisler.
The worst part about Catholicism is sectarianism. I would say that's the worst. And then original sin, I'm not a big fan of that either. I don't like that. I don't like the original sin. I don't know how they get it from the Bible. I don't know how they're getting that. But, you know, everything else is okay.
Catholics and evangelicals, agreements and differences.
It's
so
not
if you want
super
to go deeper,
exciting.
you can. Does that make sense?
With Coinbase, you can trade Bitcoin
All right, that's
in
enough.
6 easy